Welcome back, everybody. This is the second episode of LostBoys Presents Deep Cuts, the segment of the show where I bring on artists who have been on before or even some artists who haven't been on before, and we just have a one-on-one conversation and we get to go a little deeper than we do in the regular show because we have more time to hang out and talk. Today, I am joined with I am joined by Miss Poetless Shakespeare. She's an author and a poet. She's two books out right now called DNA and the sequel DNA The Results. They're both available on Amazon. You can check out her poem performances on YouTube at Red Designs. That's R.E.D.Designs, spelled DESYGNZ 956. So go check that out on YouTube. How you doing today?
I am wonderful besides the cold weather.
I feel you. I look out my window and it's nothing but frozen everywhere. And yeah, I mean it's cold, but it's at least not snowing where I am today, so it'll be an all right drive to work. I got my little
Too bad.
Spider-Man water bottle. I'm ready for the day. I'm ready for the day.
Exactly.
So what you been up to?
So I've been up to writing
You woke
pretty much. I woke up feeling like I'm the next dopest poem walking around. So that's how I gotta feel. So if I feel like I'm the dopest poem walking around, that means I'm gonna write it. So that's how I felt this morning. I'm like, yes, I'm gonna write it. People are gonna love it. So
Hell yeah.
I put it out there.
Hell yeah.
But you know what? But lately, I've been noticing that I've really been connecting with a lot of cool people, like on and off the internet. So it's just like I just been vibing for the last couple of weeks with cool people, like good vibing people.
Yeah.
Like
No, I mean that's something that always gives me like pumped and gives me like motivation, like, and I gotta honestly say, especially you, I want to thank you personally, and personally, like on the show, I want to thank you because you set my new year like on such a different track than I felt like it was going. Honestly, like, yeah, like I had no idea what my New Year's resolution was. Like I was kind of like, I was kind of like, I want to do more stuff for the show. I want to, but like you kind of like just put it in perspective, and like with that on me shit, you know what I mean? Like it just gave me so much motivation. And I actually went and I wrote a list of, and they're called goals I'm manifesting in 2024. And there's I think there's about 14 or 15 of them. And it's not all to do with the show. There's a lot to do with the show. There's a lot to do with, putting out extra content, this is part of that. But there's also a lot of stuff about, fixing my attitude and not being such a dick, and yeah. So you definitely inspired me to like just push for just like a better me this year. So thank you.
You are more than welcome. Well, I had to say the same thing to you. It's just like when you're around a different type of energy, you either going to do one or two things. You either going to adjust to it and adapt with it, or if not, you're just going to run away from it. So I feel like for some reason, whenever you ask me to do a show, you always get me in the right vibe. Like I don't know what it is. It's like whenever my chakras feel like they are unlined and they just don't want to listen to me, they want to do what they want to do. You always say, "Hey, can you do the show?" I'm like, "Yup." And every time I get on the show, it's like I just get my energy refilled. Like I will never say no to come on your show, no matter what. I'm going to make time to come on the show because I know what I'm going to get from your show. It's like I needed that energy from your show. And it's like since then, it's just like I love and even if I'm not on the show, I watch your show because I know I'm going to get the energy. Like if I'm having writer's block, all right, it's a Saturday night, I'm gonna go right to your show because somebody gonna spit something. Gonna say, you know what? All right, let me get my pen up. Let me get my pen up and show you how to do it. You know what I'm saying? But I just been trying to attract people with the same kind of energy. That's all I've been doing.
Hell yeah. I mean, you bring the fire every time you come on my show. And not only that, but like you just bring the vibes, man. Like it's such a different like type of show when you come on. You know what I mean? That's why you're one of the first people I reached out to do these deep cuts with, is because like you're one of the people that I want I want to sit there on when we're live on Saturday nights doing our thing. I'm like, man, I wish I could just sit here and talk to this girl for like 3 hours about the world and the universe and just like everything. You know what I mean? Like you just, yeah. And it's like, oh shit, we're already at 11:30. We should probably wrap this shit up. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Yeah, yeah. So that's, I mean, that's partly where the idea for the Deep Cuts show came. You know, is just because kind of I want to connect deeper with some of y'all, and I want to just share the vibes, and that's honestly at the end of the day, that's what the show is all about, is feeding off each other's vibes and helping each other grow stronger and
Hmm.
more successful and more confident and more competent.
Yep.
And yeah, it's an amazing feeling, man. Like I have probably the worst case of chronic writer's block ever. Like I've just dealt with it through my whole life. Even though I'm a writer, I
Hmm.
always like I'll write songs about writer's block. It's
Exactly.
and but when I come on the show, man, it inspires me every time. Um, and people just give me so many different perspectives on like not only how to use my craft and how to write and whatnot, but
Hmm.
like how to use it to master my everyday problems, or vice versa, how to use my everyday problems to master my craft. And like
Exactly.
I put out a thing I put out a thing on Facebook a few days ago, and I was talking about like this weird kind of writer's block that I'm stuck in, right? Where
Oh,
like it's
I
not that I
commented that.
right. Where I'm kind of like writing the same kind of thing a lot, whatever. But and I've got since then I've gotten so much perspective on it, and I've been able
Hmm.
to like sit down with my thoughts and sit down with my craft and like get a whole new perspective on it and look at it and take all these people's thoughts into consideration. My great aunt, she said, go out into nature and take a walk.
Exactly.
I don't know if you've seen the ground and the trees right now, but there, Auntie Barb, there ain't much nature to walk around in right now.
Look, she like, you better be creative. You better get out there and be creative. It's nature some
Yeah,
way somehow.
but yeah. I've just gotten so much perspective from so many different people, whether it's family members or different artists or whatever,
Hmm.
of just like how to go about things. And I don't think I ever would have gotten that if I wasn't doing this show and I wasn't putting myself out there and reaching out to people and helping them put themselves out there. It's an amazing feeling, man. It really is, really
It
is.
definitely is. Cause I had read when I had read your status yesterday, I was like, I'm actually going through the same thing now, and it is so crazy because when I write in a sense of enjoyment for me because I have to like it before I put it out there. And if I can't relate to it, then I'm not going to put the product out there. That's and when some people say, "Can you ghostwrite for me?" I really don't like doing it because it's like I get selfish. If I write something, I'm going to say, "Oh, that's for me. That's for me." So I had to learn how to like, all right, I'm writing this for somebody else. You get what I'm saying? But here lately, I hate writing. Like I used to be the one I hate love. I hate Valentine's Day. I hate this. I hate that. But it's like for the last couple of months, it's the only thing that I've been wanting to write about. So when you wrote that, like I understand, but like no matter what, like I could be in the middle of writing the dopest drug scene ever, and somebody falls in love and right in the mix of the deal. I'm like, how the heck? So then it's just like, okay, I can either fight it or I'm going to say bump it and I just go into it. And now that I'm giving myself to my chaos, because sometimes you gotta allow chaos, your chaos, to drive you where it wants to go. Your chaos is not that bad, and I'm noticing that my chaos has been wonderful to me. It's just when I get in the way of my chaos, that's when problems start. But as I can
Mm,
say right now, my chaos is really wonderful. So
mm,
when you look at it like that, that stops a whole lot of problems because everybody think, oh, you gotta have chaos is bad, and I just think the same thing. But it's like it's not that bad when you allow it to happen because sometimes your chaos taking you to where you need to be, but you don't want to see that because of what's going on. So when
right.
it
Yeah.
comes down to writing, that's how I had to look at it. It's like, why you want me to write about this? But then when I'm writing, and it's so crazy because everybody would come to me and like, you know what, I feel like this. I feel like that. Like, I just wrote about that. Or I just went through that. I'm like, okay, I see what you're doing. So sometimes when you have writings like that, or it's just something that's stuck in your head, sometimes you just got to be his best friend because it can put
Yeah.
you where you need to be. And that's what I
Yeah.
really know. Anytime one of my little characters, you have to be your character's best friend. I talk to all my characters. I don't care. And people look at
Right.
me like I'm crazy, but I'm like, I can't write about something that I don't know nothing about. So
Right.
I have to know my
Right.
terms. I have to
You've
know the
gotta get
topic.
right. You've got to get in that mindset. And like you were saying about chaos, like it's not there is unordered chaos and then there is ordered
Mm,
chaos, and you and our job as an artist, I feel like, is to bring order to the
exactly.
chaos, is to use the chaos and bring order to it, and some kind of meaningful, concisive
Hmm.
way that people can understand, because we're all living in our own chaos. And
Exactly.
a writer, everything they say, everything's been written already, everything's already been done. Well, yeah, maybe that's true, but we do it in our own ways, and it's our
Exactly.
job to keep doing. It's like, oh yeah, sure, that shit's already been written about,
Hmm.
but that's because that's the stuff that people are going through for the last thousands of years.
Exactly.
That's this thing that
Exactly.
we've all are still going through these issues, whether it's
Yep.
depression, anxiety, poverty, racism, fucking homelessness,
Hmm.
just all of these problems we've been dealing with for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And that's why these topics, it's not that we can't come up with anything original, it's that we're all humans, and these topics are part of the human experience.
It is. It is.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
And I was just going to say, yeah, I mean, our job as artists is to relay the human experience through our art.
it's supposed to be. That's why I make a joke all the time, and I didn't understand it then, but it's like now that I understand it, and everybody who I looked up to, like the great artists and William Shakespeare, they all had a mental disability. So I look at it, I said, I'm so happy that God gave me this disability because look what I created. Like, who else can take what we do and produce what we create? It gotta be somebody with a twisted mind. Cause I
Right.
know it's been a couple of times where I've been on your show and I heard some people spit some stuff. I'm like, you are a twisted individual to speak some stuff like that. How dare you? But it's like when you get a normal person, it's a whole lot different. Yeah, you might got bills, but the way we make you see our bills, the whole like I said, when a poet cries, it's something totally different. It's something
Mm-hmm.
about when our artists express our feelings. It's like a whole different level. You will never
Yeah,
begin to
man.
understand us.
I mean, and I like, and me being one of them, I think a lot of the artists that come on my show know that they're a bit sick and they're a bit twisted.
Hmm.
I mean, a few that come to mind are my brother and Cage C. Like he definitely he know, but I mean he openly he talks about his schizophrenia, which is it is a sickness. So
It is.
he literally is sick in the head, and he uses it to his advantage, and he uses it so well. I mean, so well. It's I keep telling him that, like, it's not a disability because he's not broken. Like, it's not like he's broken into different pieces. It's like I mean, he is, but they're all part of him. You know what I mean? He uses these pieces as a whole to create something amazing, and he wouldn't be able to do that if he wasn't the way he was. You know what I mean? He is unique and just amazing, dude. Like, one of the examples of one of the most amazing artists on the show.
Hear me?
Yep, yep,
Okay. But no, being schizophrenic is awesome. I love it because you have so many people to talk to. You're never alone. Never alone. Never. And
right,
I use that, and I really use that for my writer's block. Like when I'm having writer's block, like, or which one of y'all get ready to get on my nerves? That's have to talk to all of my personalities. Like one of y'all getting on my nerves. One of y'all don't feel like
right,
writing. That's cool. Don't make all of us suffer. Leave us alone and let us write. You go about your business and you let us write. But people look
right.
at that as a sickness. It's like being mentally ill is like the worst thing on earth. Some people might say, like, "Oh my gosh, you're like," but we're the dopest people ever. Like we'll come to your rescue and help you before anybody else will. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, artists are a different breed, and I feel like To be an artist, you have to have a certain type of empathy for your fellow human beings, and empathy is so fucking rare nowadays. Empathy is so rare.
Hmm.
We
It
we
is.
just fall into this shit where we don't give a fuck about anybody, and especially because
Yep.
we're all hiding behind screens and we're all typing, and we're like, it's so easy to just not give a fuck about
Exactly.
what you're saying behind a message on the internet because you're never going to see the person. You don't
Exactly.
fucking, yeah.
Exactly. I sit there
It's
and I said the
become,
same thing. I said since the internet has come, you see a lot of internet bullies. A lot of internet bullies. And I'm sitting there like you wasn't the same person before the internet came about.
no.
You
And
wasn't
we've
you wasn't
become so desensitized, not only to like just what hurts people's feeling, not only desensitized to like, like what's going on in the world, but what hurts people's feelings, what we say affects people. We like, it doesn't affect us. Like,
exactly.
we don't get any sensory input from hurting someone's
Exactly.
feelings. It's like playing a video game,
Exactly.
but you're
Like
literally fucking with people's lives. I mean, there used to be seminars in my when I was going to school. There were, in middle school and high school, there were seminars about online bullying and
hmm
all this, and girls and guys who would go home and hang themselves because of things that were said on
Yep.
the internet, and they were like, we were forced to watch documentaries, and did everybody just forget all those fucking documentaries we watched? They just weren't
Yep.
paying attention, I guess, but like,
hmm
it's the shit. They literally predicted the future, and it's literally. I mean, it was happening in small scale back then, but now it is
Yep.
massive and global,
Full
and no one gives a
fledged.
fuck. No one cares.
Exactly. It's so crazy because when I'm out in the public, I don't know, is it something about the my energy that makes me happy and I just forget about everybody else because I'm my own society. And I was on the bus, and it's so crazy. I hate public transportation, but I love it at the same time. But I was on the bus, I had my earphones on, and you know how you glance at something and you really not paying enough attention. You just checking your surroundings. So the
Yeah,
lady that was sitting directly behind me, she was coughing, so I didn't say nothing. I wasn't even paying no mind. So I had moved over. So she gets upset. Oh, you got a problem with me? I didn't hear it at first until the little girl that was sitting in front of me tapped me, said she was talking to me. Because by me being short, I guess she thought I was a kid. So I turned and I said, "What's wrong, sis?" She said, "Oh, you looking at me because I was coughing." I'm like, I'm not paying no attention. I said, "I'm listening to Baby Shark in my ears." That's the song that I was listening to at that moment. I'm not worrying about you. So I turned around. Oh, because you want to fight. I'm like, fight you for what? Because you got an attitude? I said, what would I get from fighting you? So I turned around, turned my music up. So every 5 minutes, yeah, because I open hand slap you. And I said, she got a mental disability. You can just tell. You could tell something is mentally wrong. Like you're upset because of your actions. And then it made you even madder because I didn't react the way you wanted me. So I'm like, what am I going to fight you for? I have too much to lose. You're
right.
fighting because you called and you wanted some attention. I could have turned around and cussed her out, but I'm like, for what reason?
You know, my mom used to tell me this thing, and she ingrained it in my head. And she used to say, Dylan, there are two types of people in this world. There are people that matter, and there are people that don't. And the best
Yep,
thing is that you get to decide who those
direct who
people
them.
are, and you
Exactly.
get to decide whose opinion or whose presence matters to you and whose doesn't. And the
Exactly.
ones that you decide don't matter, they can't fucking hurt you.
They
they're
can.
they're out of your fucking zone. The
Yeah,
only
oh,
the people that you
absolutely.
let in your circle, the only the people that you let in your circle, the people you can let affect you.
Exactly.
Like, they're,
Exactly.
you just, those fucking we'll call them coughing Karens. Those coughing Karens, those coughing Karens don't fucking matter. All right, honestly though, I feel bad for whoever, like, for the, because I'm sure there's some very very nice women named Karen, and now they're just stuck with that for the rest of their life.
Exactly.
Now they're just stuck, and
Exactly.
nobody's ever gonna name their kid Karen again.
Karen, never. I wouldn't even name my
No,
dog Karen. Wouldn't even name
no,
my dog. Not even my hamster. Not even my
no.
hamster. But just like you said, it is just like everybody is all angry, and it's just like I remember a time where, like down south, for instance, I would definitely go down south because everybody said, "Hey, how you doing?" Give you a hug, and it's like when I wake up in the morning, You got to catch me when I'm at a good space. So when I'm at a good space, please leave me alone and let me be in my good space. Because if you take my peace away from me, then I'm going to have to take something from you. Then it's not going to end well. You know what I'm saying? Like, just let me be peaceful. But like,
Right.
people prefer to be upset. Like, I would sit there and if somebody, one of my coworkers or something, they talking about something I really don't want to hear. I'm like, okay, and that's facts. And I'll get up and I walk away. So one day my coworker was like, "Well, you did it all the time." I said, "Because I don't care what goes on social media. I don't care who's cheating on whom. I just don't care. I don't care. Now show me some videos about somebody being a juicer. Give me some new recipes to juice. Yeah, I'm with you. But it's like I get so sick and tired of seeing what's in the world that people get mad when you don't want to get yourself out of it, or why you want to just disconnect yourself. I don't want to be in it. Do you see what's in the world?
Do you
I don't want
think
to see
that
that.
do you think that we as humans are drawn to conflict? Do you think
Mm-hmm.
that like a certain to like when they're like I was listening to another podcast the other day. I think it was Joe Rogan, and I think that he pointed out um he pointed out that he thinks that when there's nothing to fight about or there's nothing
Mm-hmm.
to be scared about, there's nothing real going on, people
Right.
just find shit.
Yes, they
People just
do.
find shit because we're naturally drawn to conflict. And I was thinking about that and I was like,
Yes, they
yeah,
do.
he's got a point there. I can see that. Like
That is so
we as
true.
humans, like we need it. We feed off of the chaos for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I mean that's why war has always been a part of human civilization
Always.
since the dawn of time. Like no one's ever fixed war. No one's ever been like, hey, this is a bad fucking idea. Maybe we shouldn't kill each other. Maybe we shouldn't kill each other
Right.
in mass groups. And
Exactly.
and now we have drones. And now we have. Did you know that we have missiles that are like like they can fly at the speed of sound and then
Mm-hmm.
change directions. Like this
Mm-hmm.
thing can be flying at the speed of sound towards Boston and just hook a left towards New York.
And go
Like,
wherever it wants.
like literally, they have guided missiles that
Mm-hmm.
travel the speed of sound. It is fucking ridiculous.
Why you think all
And
these rich people is going underground? Or why
right,
they
oh,
trying
they're
to
all
buy all
building
this
bunkers.
stuff?
They're all building bunkers.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
it's and we've got these morons who just let I mean they're they're supposed to be professionals, right? But
Supposed to be.
none of them are. They all let their personal biases, their personal racisms, their personal whatever the fuck
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
influence
Mm-hmm.
and their religions, their everything
Oh,
influence the decisions that they make in the world.
exactly. Look who's running the world. Look who our president's been.
And that's who we have with their hand on the buttons. That's who has the
Exactly.
nuclear launch codes is these nut jobs who I mean Biden can't even finish a fucking sentence.
I was just about to say, do
What if
he
he
really
goes
think he
what if
can?
okay, real quick,
Okay.
what if Biden goes to call the guy to launch the missiles, right? Or to shut down the missiles, and he's got one, two, 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 five, six, six,
Exactly.
and like he gets the number wrong, and they launch the missile at the wrong fucking
Man,
country or some shit. Like what?
not only that, you see him when he be on the stage, whenever he do his press conference, and I be feeling so bad because they just leave that man out there. Like, okay, you can clearly see mentally
That he's not. Yeah,
he's not capable of making decisions. Like that one interview that he did when he was going around shaking hands with the mannequins and everything. I'm like, something is not right with him. He might have
he.
Alzheimer's, dementia, or
Yeah,
something, but something is setting
and
in.
that's like okay, like that part of it, him being not right in the brain, whatever. Like there's some stuff with him and his son that are like sketchy and
Yep,
like pure evil. But as far as
exactly.
the just like not being there, that's not his fault. That's just his brain
Right.
deteriorating. But why the
Mm-hmm.
fuck are you letting him in office? Why are you? I mean, he's clearly a puppet.
Exactly.
He even looked like one of Jeff Dunham's puppets.
I love Jeff Dunham. Shout out to Jeff Dunham. I love that.
He looks, yo, but Joe Biden looks like a Jeff Dunham puppet. He does. And he is. He is a puppet. All right, you're back. You're
Hello?
back.
Yep.
Yes. So we were talking about Biden and how he's a puppet.
He definitely is. Like I said, all of them has been a puppet except for Trump. The one thing I can say about Trump, he came out from the beginning and said what he was going to do and what he wasn't going to do. Point blank period, and he did it. He's the only one that I can see that he wasn't answering to nobody. He just didn't care. That's
You know
about the
why?
only one.
You know why? He the thing is because Donald Trump. I mean, Donald Trump has been a public figure for a long time.
A
And
long time.
Donald Trump has always done pretty much whatever the fuck he wants.
Yes.
But here's the thing. And he has what we call in the business fuck you money. And
Yes.
it's the amount of money to say fuck you to pretty much anybody. But here's the thing.
Exactly.
And he was still a puppet, but here's the thing. They wanted someone that was going to be that rebel, that badass fuck you, whatever. And that's why they let him
Do what he wanted to do.
just do whatever the fuck he wanted, meld off on Twitter, fucking say whatever the fuck he wanted, because all their shit is scripted. All their shit
Exactly.
is very scripted, and they don't let them say anything they don't want them to say. So, I mean, yeah, to a certain extent, he was doing whatever the fuck he wanted, but they would have put their stop to it if they wanted him to. You know what I mean? Every president is a part of their plan. Is a convenient, a strategic. It's like a chessboard. It's a strategic. It's another piece. You know what I mean? Like Donald Trump, he was the queen. He's the piece on the board that can do whatever the fuck he wants, but he's still getting controlled. He's still getting moved around. You know what I mean? Biden's more like the pawn. There's just like one step at a time, little guy. You got this.
Exactly. Come on, 2, 3, let's go. You can do
Yeah.
it. I don't know. I just look at the whole. It's like, okay, at some point, somebody had to stand up and say, okay, if we continuously to let the poor people be poor, we're not going to get rich because they don't have anything to give us. So we're going to be poor at some point. But no, like you said, everybody has that FU money. So at this point, don't nobody care. Don't nobody care. Just like I looked up, and this is so crazy. This is what I did because they just had a big thing. I want to say out in Tennessee. I might be wrong. I'll go back and check. But they were talking about the school system. And I was like, you know what? It's crazy because in Baltimore, you get away with so much stuff when it comes down to your kids not going to school, your kids being in school, versus other states, other countries, all that. Just like in Pennsylvania, if your child misses a certain amount of days, you're going to jail. The parents are going to jail, mainly the mother. You're going to jail. And you're going to do time, you have to pay charges. So I'm thinking, okay, with that, why don't we all as a collective say, you know what, as the president, if you really want to get a hands on, if you always talking about, well, we're going to cut funding for this, we're going to cut children programs for this, back to school programs. Okay, just like you said, it's another pawn. If we get rid of all of the libraries and stuff, what are the kids going to do? I have 4 buildings right here that I need to cash out on. The easiest thing to do is either make them a parking lot or a juvenile detention center. Which one you think is going to happen first?
It probably a detention center.
Because what I found out, as many libraries there that they have closed, as many facilities they have opened up for the juvenile, I was like, wow. So and a trade off for a library for a detention center, but yet they can't get no books and nothing in there. So I'm like, I'm not comprehending that logic anyway. But yet you want the parents to watch their kids, but yeah, how can you when you have a mom that works 3 jobs because she's a single parent and she still have to do X, Y, and Z? But what are we supposed to do when you stop all the funding?
Yeah.
So what are we supposed
Dude,
to do?
the shit that we give our money. Most of our money. To begin with, we're already trillions of dollars in debt. But the money, first of all, none of our money is real. And did you know that only about 3% of the cash? There's only like if everybody tried to take their money out of their bank account, there wouldn't be enough cash to go around. Do you hear what I'm
It
saying? There
wouldn't.
isn't
It
enough
wouldn't.
money, physical is paper in the world. It's all digital. First of all,
Yep.
97% of it is all digital.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, but all the money that we're giving,
Mm-hmm.
we don't give it to our own people. I
Mm-mm.
mean, like Hawaii, the in
Mm-hmm.
Maui, the biggest
Mm-hmm.
fires in a century. These people get $700.
Right.
So a one-time payment of
Exactly.
$700. Are you fucking kidding me? Are
And
you
what that's
kidding?
supposed to do?
Because they're out on the island. We don't have to, out of sight, out of mind. We don't have to worry about them. But they're what they're. If we're
Exactly.
gonna claim them as one of our 50 states, and we need to fucking treat them like one, you know.
Exactly.
And we're not.
Exactly.
That's one of the examples of we're not giving money to our own fucking people.
And
We're not
nobody
funding
cares.
our own. I mean, obviously, the Coast Guard is
Mm-hmm.
one of the least funded branches of the
Oh
military.
yeah. Oh yeah.
And they're
Mm-hmm.
protecting us. They're the ones protecting our fucking borders. And they're the least funded. How fucked up is that? We're not giving money to our own fucking people.
Mm-mm.
I mean,
Mm-mm. The
and
veterans don't
like,
get no love. The veterans get no love. It's been like once you are out of the service, and I could speak on a personal level about this because my father was in the service. And when my father got put out the service, well, he was in the army first, I believe. Yeah, the army got put out the army, then they put him in the navy. Once he got out of the navy, and it's just like, for it says healthcare, mental health, uh. He was living in California and he was doing his treatments, but my father had a way. If he didn't want to do something, he could talk his way out of it, I guess. And when he came to Baltimore, he went to Shepherd Pratt, and they knew he was suicidal, everything. They allowed him to check his stuff out of the hospital. He's a veteran. So when he leaves Shepherd Pratt and he tried to go down to the veteran hospital, they won't let him get nothing, no benefits, no nothing. Just like, oh well. They wouldn't help him pay for his medicine, no nothing. So after that, he had overdose. So I'm
you
sitting
know,
there like when you have veterans, like they did all this to
you
take
know
to
how,
do
and you know how
wrong.
common that exact fucking story is. That exact story. I've heard that like, not, and that, it's not to belittle your story at all. Like, what each person goes through is
Mm-mm.
just as hard. But like, you know how many times I've
Mm-hmm.
heard that exact story. You know,
Mm-hmm.
veteran veteran comes home, tries to get help,
They
fails
don't.
to get help, and ends up either overdosing, shooting
Yep.
themselves,
Yep.
whatever, and it is, or just living out on the fucking street. I
Exactly.
mean,
Under a bridge
and
somewhere. And it's crazy. Like these are people that took care, but they took time out of their schedule. They leave their families to go fight a war that they have nothing to do with. But because they love this freaking great America, let's go fight for it. Then when they all banged up, beat up, it's like, all right, you done your time. We don't need you now. You good. And I'm sitting there like, how
there
can you
was
do that?
there was this city where for a brief time period, I forget what it was. I don't know if it was Cincinnati or Chicago, or
Hmm.
I, I I'm gonna misspeak if I try to guess, but there was this city that for a brief period of time um cleaned up all the homelessness.
Oh, that
There
was
was
dope.
there was zero homelessness in the city for a brief time, and I forget what the
Mm.
story was. There was some reason, and it was funded by something. It was funded by the city, but for a specific reason, and
Mm.
then um, it it ended. The point is that people went back to being homeless, and
Right.
I'm just wondering, like, they must, the outrage that they had before of the homelessness must be, enormous, but even more so now that they know that their city had the power all along to
Right.
clean that up,
Mm-hmm.
and did
Mm-hmm.
it, you know what I mean? I'll have to get back to you. It it was one of those stories that I was hearing on a podcast that I went to research on Google the other day, and I go down the rabbit hole, man, and I like there's so like one, I jump from that to like crises,
Mm-hmm.
like the fire in Maui, and just like I'll just go down this rabbit hole of just fucking tragedy and fucking people just not giving a fuck, and our government not giving a fuck about
Exactly.
people. And what they do is they like there's just people everywhere. There's just people in China.
Right.
We're all just people. We're all just
Yep.
good people trying to live our lives, trying to do the day-to-day thing. But the thing is, when people talk about, oh, we're going to get attacked by Russia, or we're
Right.
going to get attacked by Ukraine, whatever, it's like all those people who are living in Russia, they're just like they're just paying their taxes, like doing their job, like they don't deserve to get
Exactly.
fucking bombed. They don't deserve to get bombed any more than we do.
Say that again.
None of
But
us
people think
deserve, like
stuff.
none of us civilians deserve to get bombed. We didn't fucking do anything. We didn't
Not
do
a
anything.
thing. But
And
because
and I
we need to
feel
help
like
one
what they
another.
do I feel like what they do is they make us seem more mad at each other than we actually
Mm-hmm.
are. Like they'll
Yep.
film riots of people yelling at each other's, and I'll look at those riots or those people holding signs screaming at each other, and I'm just like, dude, I don't know anybody in my hometown who would do that.
Right.
Most of everybody I know, they're not racist. Like, like there. Don't get me wrong. There is racism in the world. There is
Mm-hmm.
people who are just fucking idiots and stupid and whatever. But I think they're
Yep.
showing us on news. They're showing us the worst parts of humanity so that we'll be mad at each other. So that we don't realize that, like, oh, you muted yourself. We won't realize that we're all the same, and we all kind of have, like, we all are not nowadays in America. The majority of people, and I don't want to like speak for I don't want to speak for the majority of people, but the majority of people that I see are pretty accepting people. They're
Mm-hmm.
pretty open minded, pretty accepting people, and then you get these crazy whack jobs that go viral on TikTok, or you get these people out in the streets with their signs, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
that does not represent the rest of humanity. That does not represent me or like the people I talk to. And I do a podcast where I bring people on every week, and I meet a bunch of different types of people, and none of these people that I've met are throwing bricks through windows and getting on TikTok doing crazy shit. Like, you know
No,
what I
no,
mean?
no. Not this little person. I'm too little to do anything, so I don't do much. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's so true. And it's so crazy because society will take one thing that will get everybody off course. Whether it be religion, money, the government, it is something that they know they can get to us that will have us going
Left
crazy.
against right. Left against right. They want us
Crazy.
since
Like when
and since the dawn of time, one of the main, because this is a war. This is a
hmm
war against the people.
Yep,
But the one of the most tried and true tested strategies of all time is divide and conquer.
of
And they have
course.
always done it. Divide
Of
us and
course.
conquer us. That is how it is done.
Yep.
Be- because if we weren't divided, we would fuck their shit up.
All the
We
way.
would,
All the
and I'm not
way.
just, and I'm not talking about storming the Capitol and doing it because they have drones and bombs. No,
Right.
you're. I'm sorry. You have every right to have your AR-15, and I would love to have one myself someday. That's
Right.
great, but it's not doing shit against the drone. I
Mm-mm.
these people that
Mm-mm.
are like these people that are like, oh, I want to keep my guns so that we can fight back against the government. Dude, I'm
You're
sorry to tell
wrong.
you, we've moved past muskets. That law
Yes.
was moved. That law was made back when we had muskets. We've moved past muskets. You're not going to be able
Oh,
to fight. Cool. Go fight. Go shoot your deer or your soda bottles in your backyard. That's cool. But you try to storm the White House, you're gonna die. I mean, that's what I
I'm
don't know what
surprised
to
that
tell
didn't
you.
happen that day when all those people went up there and did what they did to the Capitol. I'm surprised there ain't nobody get hurt that day because that was
Because
so
they
enough.
have
Look, and then
they
you know
have the
what?
ability
The thing about
they
it.
have the ability to respond with such overwhelming force, and
Mm-hmm.
they I
Mm-hmm.
mean they could have lasered all those people into dust.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
But they choose
Like, they was straight up
when to
Superman
act
lasered them
out.
into dust with a fucking. They have the technology to just, and but how would that make the government look? You know what I mean? If they actually responded.
Exactly.
So I
Ex-
mean, I guess actually in that respect, that one with that time when they stormed the White House and actually were throwing bricks through the window and shit, like I actually kind of respect whoever was in charge that day for not giving the order to like retaliate, because
but I
that is in a bigger, that is kind of being the bigger person in a way, like okay,
right.
like yeah, we, because if we retaliate, not, it's, they're protecting their own asses, because if they retaliate it's going to cause a worldwide panic. But you
Exactly.
know what I mean, they could have sniped them, they could have lasered them into dust, they could have done any number of things. And
Exactly.
I'm
That's why I
just
said
like,
funny. That whole event is just like
we're so
I don't under-
desensitized.
exactly.
Nobody, no, everybody on TikTok, everybody was like, it started when we were like, oh yeah, we're gonna go storm Area 51 and catch an alien. Are
Right.
you fucking nuts? People, and here's the thing is, one idiot gives another idiot an idea on the internet, and then another idiot thinks it's a
It's
good idea, and then when somebody sees that 10 million idiots think something is a good idea, they start
throw my
considering
shade.
it. They're like, you know what, actually I could do that too. If these people are doing
Exactly.
it, I could do it too. And they did. They showed up to fucking Area 51 and had a party outside. Are you?
These
They did.
people is
They
just
really did.
that's why I don't take anything serious. People laugh at me, just like I've become so calm because I look at myself as an alien. I tell everybody I'm not from here because you can't think like this and be normal. Like I'm not from here, but I just
No.
be sitting there thinking. And when that event, like yo, so many racial communities came out. I'm sitting there looking like where that racial group come from. There go another one, and I'm just sitting there thinking how they all just came and unified together as one. I'm sitting there like, hmm. So I'm confused. If hate can come together like that, why can't love do the same thing? Because when I was watching that little live when you were seeing everybody post, I didn't see not one person get mad with the other person because they was this and on that they knew they hated this and they all was on one accord and they was not fighting each other. I'm sitting there like, wow. So you have all of these hate groups come together, but show each other love, and I'm like, I'm so confused on that note.
Yeah, it's like when we have a. That's what I mean. We gravitate towards something to fight against, to fight about. We gravitate towards conflict. When we're not mad at the man, we're mad at each other. Like, and
Right.
that. It goes back to their whole plan. Is they want us to focus on each other. They want us to fight each other so that we don't do that. So that
Because
we
I was like, what's the
don't
purpose?
do what those people did and
But I'm like,
unite and come together as one, because once we come together as one,
mm,
it's all fucking over. Their schemes fall apart.
all the
All their
way,
schemes
all
fall
the way,
apart.
all the way, all the way, all the way. Just like I make a joke about this all the time. It's so funny. And when I watch TikTok videos, like I love watching any type of TikTok videos that's going to make me grow mentally, spiritually, anyway. And I changed my algorithm on my thing, so now I'm seeing like spiritual things, sign language, and stuff like that. But it was one video where it was like a Chinese girl. I think she had to be four, and she was playing four different instruments. I think she was like 4 or 5. She was speaking 3 different languages, and I'm sitting there like, wow,
Damn.
those kids over there wake up in the morning to work. These little kids over here, they wake up. I don't want this. I don't want who you think you talking to demanding me what you can and cannot have. You don't like the cereal, so we do this. But people over there in China ain't worried about that. When your kid get up in the
This
morning,
little
it's no
girl's
iPad.
learning 3 languages. Well, your little boy's like, give me my fucking Fortnite controller.
Exactly.
I want my fucking Fortnite
Exactly.
controller back.
Exactly. So when
I
I
need the
see that,
battle pass.
exactly. You ain't gonna buy me my what's that Fortnite. I need to buy Fortnite this. You run about Fortnite. And it's like you can say, "Oh, my kid know the latest games, this, that, but can your kid read?"
Right.
No, kid can't read though, huh? No, okay, but he got a $1,200 iPad though. So you spend all that money for your kid to watch nothing but toxic stuff. I'm just saying. So when they be
Yeah.
going to the Korean stores, and it be so funny because one of the boys, they was like, "Well, Dad, we can go in there and they don't need Chinese people. They know not to mess with us." I said, "It's not that." They look at us and say, "You dumb Americans." My 5-year-old is smarter than you. That's what they pretty much be thinking back there. When you see these
Mm-hmm.
little thugs be going in the store and whatever, that's what they be thinking. Like, I don't have to do anything. You're stupid Americans. You're stupid. Like they talk about us all the time. They don't. Do you really think they care? The first thing they say, "You're spending your money here, dummy.
Mm-hmm.
You could come in here and cuss
Mm-hmm.
up. It doesn't matter. You're spending your money here, dummy. You're stupid." And that's exactly how the Chinese people look at them. Like you're gonna spend your money here anyway because you're
Oh my god,
stupid.
I wanna mention something, and you know what? I put my shit on my hometown, Hillsboro page. So
Hmm.
I hope this guy fucking sees this too. All right, there's this douche. Yeah, I want to call someone out. There's this
Oh, ooh.
douchebag. All right, who comes
Oh,
in now?
douchebag you call out.
There's this local gas station, and right across the
Hmm.
street from it is a smoke shop. They sell bowls and bongs, and
Right.
they have a wicked good cigar selection. It's awesome,
Hmm.
right? And they're owned by I think they're Indian,
Hmm.
I believe.
Hmm.
And so they own the smoke shop, and this guy goes in there and openly makes fun of them, openly, like racistly, as he's buying lottery tickets, and they can't do anything about it because like they don't kick him out. They just play nice and like smile and
Right.
pretend like they don't understand what he's saying, but like they're
Right.
not fucking stupid. Like they do speak English.
Do you
Like
know when they be
they
saying?
know
When they
what
be
the
saying
fuck
it when
he's
they be
saying. Like
laughing?
the other day, I swear to God, they said something. He was like, he literally went, "Oh, you have something on your forehead or whatever." Like he referring to the dot. Like
Right.
how fucking
Ignorant
disrespectful
is that?
in front of a gas station full of people. I hope this guy sees that because you're a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit, and he still goes into that gas station and just keeps making like, just dude, just go to a different gas station. Like, why do you go in there just
It's
to
a shame.
fucking be
Exactly.
racist and make fun of these
Exactly.
people? But he is,
Because people are scared of the unknown. Whatever people don't know something, they either make fun of it or they're scared of it. So that's
and
what it
I
is.
don't know, he must be, I don't know, he must be from like a different planet or something because
More
every
than
time he
likely.
goes in there, everybody looks at him like he's like, everybody like, I can see him turn, like it's a small, gas station, but like they literally turn around in the aisles. They're like, what the fuck is this guy saying? Like you know what I mean? He's out of his mind. He's out of his mind. But like, you're always gonna have an asshole like that.
Yep.
You're always gonna have one of those,
Like
but
I
you
was
can't. But like I was
really.
saying, those people don't fucking reflect. That one asshole
Mm-mm.
doesn't reflect the rest of us. You know?
Mm-mm.
And me and my girlfriend
Mm-mm.
will always go up to the guys and we'll be like, yeah, sorry about him, man.
Right.
Like it's not, even though it's not our responsibility to apologize for him. Like I just feel like
Right.
we have to because like he's not gonna fucking
Exactly.
apologize for it. Like, and you know what I
Mm-mm.
mean. I'm just like I want to not just apologize on behalf of my race, but on behalf of the human race because that was fucking
Exactly.
disgusting. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like yeah,
Exactly. It's just like all of this race and this and that. And I asked somebody, at the end of the day, why does it really matter what a person look like, their skin color? What is the purpose? Like at the end of the day, why should it matter? And nobody
no,
can give you a good answer. Like nobody can really sit down and say, "Oh, you shouldn't be friends with Chinese because it is," or "Black people this," or "Caucasian people." Nobody can sit down and give you a good explanation on why we should be so divided because of our skin color or because of who we are. Like nobody can give you a clear definition of it.
no,
But they can say, "Oh, I wouldn't do this." I'm sitting there like, for what reason? For
right,
what
yeah,
reason?
and I mean it comes into like a lot of it is you ask somebody to give you a reason. Some people will say, "Well, the Bible." I don't like gay people. I don't like gay people because of the Bible, like that, or what, like you know what I mean. They have their
Mm,
like these these agendas that were like they're religious agendas, but they're really political agendas because back in the day, the
exactly.
church back in the day, the church was the government.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
so
It
they're
was.
political. These are the especially, and I say it all the time on the show. The New King James version of the Bible, especially when he took over and fucking wrote a new version of the Bible. How do you let your king write a new
Write a new
version of
Bible.
your fucking Bible?
Oh, they
How
did
do
that,
you
and that's
let
gonna be
that
the Chinese
happen?
version. The Chinese just got a new version. They just got a new version out for the Chinese people. The new Chinese Bible. It came out
Really?
sometime last year. Sometime last year it came out.
Jeez. Jeez.
They
Well, yeah, no,
got a whole new Bible.
I say it all the time, man. I say it all the time. It's like these books, whether and it's not just the Christian Bible. It's
Exactly.
a lot of and
Uh-huh.
I'm not shitting on every religion. I'm just saying that especially the Christian Bible,
Yes.
these texts were written thousands of years ago in ancient Hebrew and
Yep.
then translated
Exactly.
one person to another who
Yep.
had one agenda after another and translated their little own way and worded things just a little bit different to mean a different thing. Like, I
Exactly.
mean, the King James version says suffer not a witch to live, and it means
Mm-hmm.
that we should kill all witches, hang the witch.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
the original text, which can't even quote because I don't know it, because all that's been pumped into
Into it.
is
Exactly.
it's the original quote was obviously ancient Hebrew, and then the original quote has many different ways of wording it and ways of saying it.
Mm-hmm.
But what it comes down to is the original quote was described do it suffer not a witch, meaning, and they weren't using the word witch, a different
Right.
word was used. It was used to describe someone who practices harmful magic or
Exactly.
practices things that harm other people.
People.
And I mean,
Exactly.
my mom was Wiccan, and she told me one of the only laws of their religion: you can practice whatever you want, do however you
Mm-hmm.
want, as long as it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't hurt someone else. And that
Right.
was the original text in the Bible. In the
And it's
Bible, it said
crazy.
bad witches, evil
Right.
witches, not good witches.
Exactly.
Like we saw the Wizard of Oz, right? We know the fucking
Yes.
difference. We know the
Yes.
difference here.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes, we
And it's
do.
so many, and that's just one example of things that have one word like witch has
Yep.
been changed or one thing to mean something else, and it is the same thing
Exactly.
with laying with another man or
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
shit. I
Exactly.
mean, they used to say you were going to hell if you
Yep.
lit a fire on Sunday,
Exactly.
if you had sex before marriage,
Marriage. Yep.
if you ate if you ate a certain type of fucking I mean I forget what it was, but there was like there's this I was reading this list the other day, and it was just all these it was on Facebook, and it was a post basically to make this same point is,
Mm-hmm.
hey, see all the things that people say we go to hell for. Here's a list of
Right.
things that in the original Bible you also went to hell for: lighting
Therefore.
a fire on
Yep.
Sunday, having sex before marriage, like all
Having a
these things that
tattoo.
people do on a
Having a tattoo.
everyday fucking basis. And
Exactly.
it's because the church and the government has cherry picked these things
Yep.
that they want to focus on.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
These
Yep. Yep.
cherry pick
Yep.
these, and they've taken these lines so out of context
Yes,
just to
they
focus
have.
on these little fucking with their part of the agendas.
It
You
seems to
know?
me like when you're talking to a deep in Christian, it seems like they only give you half of the scripture, the middle part. I have yet talked to a Christian that has explained to me the whole text without just giving me part of it. And then with the Hebrew Israelites, it's like they're so disrespectful to the point to where you don't want to talk to them at all because they're so, and especially when it comes down to women. And I look at it like this: if you want somebody to believe in God or whatever you believe in, don't sit in and scream at them and then you cuss at them. And I'm like, that is so disrespectful. Like, that is disgusting. You're representing your religion. I want nothing to do with this religion if this is how you act.
And
None.
I mean, that's that. But here's the thing too: is like when like 9/11, right? And
Mm-hmm.
when Osama bin Laden was at large, and before they caught him, I mean, still to this day, anybody who looks like him is
Mm-hmm.
automatically met with suspicion. They didn't
Exactly.
fucking ask for that.
They
Again, this
didn't.
goes back to that one asshole does not represent the rest of us.
Everybody.
Osama bin
Exactly.
Laden did not represent their religion, their
Nope.
culture, their fucking humanity. That man was
Nope.
a monster, and he didn't represent the good fucking people. You know what I mean? He didn't. And
But you
what's
know what is
worse
so
is that
crazy?
he used their religion and their God as an excuse, or a justification for his actions, and it's the same thing. And that's the same thing with what our government does,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
what they do. It's like, no, they don't represent my religion. They don't represent my spirituality. Like, just
Exactly.
because one motherfucker wants to bomb whatever in the name of
Right.
whatever doesn't
That don't mean we
mean that
all want to do
I'm,
it.
you know what I mean? Like, it's just, one person does not speak for them all. And I think
It
that,
doesn't.
no,
It
I
definitely
think
doesn't.
that,
And some people
we
they
need
do.
to.
But I look at it like this: every action have a reaction. And me growing up and me like reading about government and everything, America, we are bullies. We are really bullies because we will do something and then we'll do something where they won't catch it where we do it like we did it first. But we'll see what they do, so their reaction get caught. You know how it is. Your mother say, "Don't do nothing to get caught. If you're gonna do something, don't get caught." So that's how we are.
Mm.
Like if you really break down the whole thing with 9/11, think about this. They was not messing with us before then. While all of a sudden now they wanted to bomb something. We had to do something. Every action have a reaction. Something had
I
to
mean,
happen.
I have a few theories about 9/11 that, I mean, this is deep cuts. So I guess we'll get a little deeper. I don't want to go too deep and
Too deep, right?
piss
But
too
I
many
had to
people off. But
dissect it. Right, I had to
here's the
really,
thing
really
is,
dissect it. Like,
and I've watched a lot of shit about 9/11, and
mm-hmm.
so the first thing that kind of caught my attention is when they went and they whispered in. Bush was at a children's school when it
Right,
happened. He was
right.
at an elementary school with children.
Mm-hmm.
Is a
Mm-hmm.
very safe place to be, and he had the thing. Somebody came and whispered it in his ear about a minute or two after it had happened, or they had got the
Mm-hmm.
news, and he nodded his head and continued reading the book to the kids for the
It
rest
was
of
a
the
setup.
time. He didn't. I mean, it's like, yeah, you want to finish the children's book, but that seems a little like, it seemed more like he was like, it was more like, and I don't want to speak out and come get fucking lasered by the government here,
Right,
but like,
right.
it seemed kind of like they were like, it's done,
Mission
sir. And he was
complete.
like,
Right.
okay.
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And that's the first thing that caught my attention. There's a bunch of other things. People have gone into detail about how they collapsed like
It was
downward
all over oil.
when
Like,
it was hit like this. It collapsed inward
exactly.
as if bombs were placed inside
Exactly.
of it, inside the foundation. There's
Exactly.
a lot of shit. There's a lot of fucking shit.
And
But
but why that particular area? Why that just
here's the
and then
thing.
after they bombed, they left. Like they didn't attack nothing else, no nothing. It was like bing bang boom, and they cleared out. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, wait a minute, if that was the attack, okay,
You know what happened after that, though? You know what happened after that? What did 9/11 accomplish? Yeah, it destroyed the stock market, and it terrified a lot of people, and it was a very traumatic event, and it hurt and killed a lot of people.
so many
But what did
people.
it accomplish? It brought us all together. Dude, everybody, I'm obviously, I'm young, so I wasn't old enough to remember it at the time, but since then I've
Right.
watched stuff on it. I was very young, but everybody had, and I remember growing up in the
Mm-hmm.
early 2000s, everybody had an American flag
Yep.
everywhere, and it was everywhere, whether it was the people, the liberals or the fucking conservatives or whoever. Everybody, like, it all brought us together.
Exactly.
It brought us together, and it was a strategic move. And I think that if you're going to launch an attack, now I'm not saying this happened, but theoretically, if you're going to launch an attack on your own people,
Mm-hmm.
the best
Mm-hmm.
way to do it would be to blame another
A
country,
country, of course.
blame another
Of
country,
course.
blame another, right? And make them the enemy, because when we have a common enemy, we fight
Right.
against them. And here's the thing, it united us, but it united us against the,
Mm-hmm.
um, sorry, I spaced out for a minute. Osama bin Laden. It united us against Osama bin Laden and the terrorists who attacked the planes. It didn't unite us against the government. You know what I mean?
Mm-mm.
It shifted the focus. That's
Something else.
another
That's
thing it
exactly
did.
what they do.
Yeah, and that's that. I mean, like I said, we could talk for a long time about 9/11 and the various setups that have supposedly gone down in the government. But one, I don't want to get lasered or nuked, and
Exactly.
and two, yeah, we don't have all the
So
time in
much
the
for
world to
freedom.
just
So much freedom to speak, right?
right.
Just
No,
throw
I
them out the
mean,
window.
and here's the thing, though. That's why I do this, though, is because
Mm-hmm.
more and more people are doing their own podcast, their own like. More and more people are brave. There's no fucking networks anymore. You know, people don't want to
Mm-mm.
be owned by a network.
They work.
You
They want
know,
to do their
people
own
are doing
thing.
this because you can say whatever the fuck you
They
want,
want to say
whenever the fuck you
exactly.
want. And YouTube can
Exactly.
shadow ban it or try to take it down, but like it doesn't stop the people from seeing it. It doesn't stop it from
Mm-mm.
no, I mean it doesn't stop me from posting more. And the thing is like that's what we have to. That's the only thing that we can do
Mm-hmm.
nowadays
Mm-hmm.
is use our own platforms, our own words, our own power to get across to people and to
Mm-hmm.
talk to people and to try to speak the truths that have been hidden for so because it's a new day and age. Honestly,
It is.
with all the shit I talk about TikTok and all the shit I talk about the internet, it is also amazing. It is allowed people to come together in a
Mm-hmm.
way that has never been done before in human history. I
Yep.
mean, the internet has been around for 20 years. 20
That's
years.
it.
20 years is nothing.
Mm-mm.
We've been around for hundreds of thousands. The internet has
Exactly.
been around for 20 years. This is the first time in human history that we've ever been able to connect with each other on this level, get
Right.
knowledge that quickly at our fingertips. This has the potential because I don't understand why people are becoming such idiots with the internet because the internet, you have knowledge at your fingertips. It has the
Yep.
potential to make you smarter than anyone's ever been in human history. I have the potential to have more information than any other 22-year-old
Exactly.
in the last 20 years because or in the last hundreds of thousands of years because none of them have had the internet like I do. You
Exactly.
know what I mean? And it has
Exactly.
changed the fucking world, but it's also changed it's changed for the worse, like we were saying before. It's the first time in human history where you can just talk to anybody at any time
Yep.
and say anything you fucking want without any repercussions whatsoever.
Exactly.
That's never been done before.
Exactly.
Never been done
Mm-mm.
before. That is the internet is true. That is true freedom of speech. The creation of the internet. The government that's because the government has always been able to control
Mm-hmm.
freedom of speech to a certain extent, but now they fucking can't.
Nope.
Now that it's what do? You can't. The internet is bigger than the government.
It's way bigger.
The
Way
internet's bigger
bigger.
than the government at this
Way
point.
bigger.
Like, and that's never like that's something else that's never been done before. Nothing, no man-made creation has ever been able to beat a king or a government. Like, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, you have wars and you could destroy someone's castle or whatever. But I'm
Right.
saying like the power of the internet and
Mm-hmm.
what we can do with it as people has the ability to topple governments.
Yep.
Absolutely, like and it is toppling governments and like the internet. I mean, we were talking about earlier. I mean, Donald Trump was his main platform was fucking Twitter. The
Exactly.
United
Exactly.
States president was on fucking Twitter
And
fucking
the
it
whole
up.
time, just I'd be like, "What in the world is
Just
wrong with him?"
what are you saying? You fucking yeah. He was just saying all sorts of wacky shit, dude. But like at a certain, somebody actually said, and I'm not sure. And here's the thing: is like he's either an idiot or a genius. And then you can look at it
He's
two
both.
ways. Or you could look at it as both. Is it's like he's saying all these stupid fucking things, but
Mm-hmm.
like they're really distracting, aren't they?
Yeah,
They
they
get
are.
you to look they get you to look over here, don't they? You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? They get you to look
Mm-hmm.
at Twitter. They don't get you to look at what the fuck else he's doing.
And I
You know what I mean?
tell everybody
And so
that.
like he was a fucking moron, and I like some of the shit he said. I'm just like, is this guy fucking like? And you know what I mean? Like as far as him being racist and sexist, I'm just like, dude, you fucking. As far as a human being, I don't want to hang out with you. I don't.
Exactly.
I don't
You're
like you. You're
disgusting.
not. You're not a fucking good. You're not a good like person. Like, but
Mm-mm.
he's like he's smart, he's intelligent, he fucking. But at the same time, is he? Because he says the most stupid fucking moronic things. So it's like I don't know. It's like it's so stupid that it's almost smart. It's so
When he
stupid that it's almost brilliant.
like I'm like, how can you be a racist when your freaking wife is an immigrant, my dude? Like, I'm not understanding.
Yeah.
Like, you sit here and you talk about all these people, and you talking about your wife's people. Like, that's your wife's people. Like, your wife, the places that you've been talking about, that's where your wife from. And like, I'm not understanding. Like, you can degrade a whole group of people, including your wife. Like, how can you do that and be cool with it?
The only color he sees is green.
And I'm
The
like,
only color he sees is green. That's all. That's what I'm saying. Like he is at this point. Like he has such an altitude with money and fame and whatever and fuck. Basically, what we call fuck you money. He
right,
is. He is able to say fuck you to anybody and everybody,
everybody, and that's what
and
he's been
he
doing.
has had. He just has such a big head on his shoulders. Like it has inflated his ego to enormous proportions. And I mean
Okay,
that's why he was out on Twitter fucking saying he's gonna let me press the button right now. No!
go
Don't
drink bleach when he
threaten
was telling people to
don't
go drink
threaten
bleach.
don't
You
threaten
think,
the leader of North Korea on Twitter.
you know what?
Please, I do not want to get bombed. Thank you
Of
very
all
much.
peoples, of all
Get
peoples, of
some
all people.
get some feedback before you go fucking threatening people on Twitter. That's what I mean. Twitter and the internet has just become like never in the world has a president been able to insult another president's junk
Exactly.
live and have the entire world see it. He literally talked about Kim Jong Un's penis on
Yes,
Twitter.
yes.
Never
I'm like,
a president of the United States talking about another president's penis.
but
That
yet he
is
don't like gay
never.
people. But yet he don't like
I
gay
mean,
people. And I'm sitting there like, that's kind of gay, president. You're talking about another man's penis.
yeah,
That's
you over
kind of
here
gay.
chatting up a storm about
I'm
Kim Jong Un's wing wang. Like,
And I'm sitting there like, but you don't like gay people though. That's the whole thing about it. You don't like gay people, but I'm sitting there like, but you're doing some gay activity.
I
You're talking
think
about
I
another
on it,
man's
and
penis.
that's the thing that too is I also think that like he is a very dramatic person,
Too
but
dramatic.
I also think that he also blew his personality out of proportion and kind of like for the years that he was running and still now I think he's running again, right?
Yeah, he
He's
is.
still
He's
right.
supposed to
He
be in jail. That's crazy.
I think his
He,
personality. Yeah, he's supposed to. Yeah, he like literally got
hmm
arrested, and then the
right.
next thing I know, he's running. I don't keep track of things very closely, but I know he got arrested. And I was reading into that,
Yeah.
and then like I was busy
And he's
with
running for
work for a
president.
few months, and then I was like, wait a minute, he's running? What?
What kind of money do he have though? He got that what money? He can do
Yeah,
that.
that fuck you money. He's got that
He
fuck
can
you
do
money.
that. He
Of
can do that.
course, of
He
course he
could get
can.
locked up, be in jail, and still be president. I'm sitting there like, how the heck?
But I feel like he's kind of he's playing a character.
Mhm.
And I
Mhm.
feel like his personality, he is dramatic, but he's not that fucking dramatic. Like I feel like since he started running, he's like, because he's always been like he's kind of always been a fuck you, like
Yep.
businessman kind of, but he hasn't been like, I mean, in the '80s, yeah, he was in tabloids and shit like that,
Oh,
but for the last like 10, 15 years, he hasn't been like boom in your face, fucking I'm a rich businessman, fuck you on the tabloids like he was
he
in the
got to chill out
80s.
now.
But then he ran for president and he's back to his like,
Yep.
fucking playboy, almost fucking Tony Stark. I don't give a fuck kind of, you know what I mean?
Pretty
Like
much. Pretty
it's
much.
like,
Yep.
yeah, and
Pretty
I
much.
feel like much like Tony Stark, much like Robert Downey Jr., he's playing a character. He's playing a
Exactly.
character. He's blowing it out of proportion. Like to a certain extent, you know, Tony Stark, the character of Tony Stark relates to um Iron Man a lot.
A
He
whole lot.
was a drug addict, playboy, billionaire or millionaire who turned into a superhero for kids.
Yep.
Same story as Tony Stark.
Pretty much.
Literally, like, you know what I mean? So he, to a certain extent, he's playing himself, but again, he's blowing it out of proportion. And that's what these presidential elections are. They're fucking, they're movies, they're, shows, they're spectacles.
Yep.
It's like going to the Coliseum in Rome. It's a
Exactly.
spectacle.
Exactly. That's why
And
I
they do the
said
same
whenever.
thing. They fucking tear each other
Yep.
apart. And
Exactly. That's what I'm like. I, when it comes down to the things that he do, it's like, all right, something get ready to happen that we need to pay attention to. That's where my mindset is at. But like you said, nobody want to pay attention. Just like when all those people was well, those couple of people went down to the bottom of the sea or whatever. I'm like, okay, there was a distraction. But everybody went about
oh
that. I'm
my
sitting there, I'm
God.
like, and I said this, and people looked at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, what about the 5G towers that they trying to put up? What's that? What's that? What about the human meat that they making us eat right now?
Well, no,
But y'all don't want to talk about that.
here's the
But y'all,
crazy. I want to back up real quick to the submarine thing,
mhm,
because the crazy thing is that the guy who built this, he
mhm.
went down. He was in it. He went down there with him. He believed in it. That means he believed in it.
But for
This thing,
5 years, they kept on saying no. They
they
told
people
him
kept
no.
people quitting. People quit. There were people who were like resigning and literally
Mhm,
retiring from their
mhm.
jobs because they were like, no, this is not safe. I'm not signing my name on something that's gonna crush
But they
people at the
didn't.
bottom of the sea.
But they didn't even go see the real Titanic. That was not the Titanic, and everybody so dummies. They didn't send the right Titanic out. That's why they didn't get no signal. That was not the original Titanic.
In the last
That
few
that.
years, they have thrown out a smoke screen of so
Mhm,
many fucking things. Here, let me just throw some out. Murder hornets,
mhm,
COVID,
mhm.
fucking the submarine thing, the
Honey, not
fucking
only that. Go
like
back, and don't forget when Wendy's was giving out burgers for $1.
there's just a smoke screen of so many things that just like are made to distract us, made
Mhm.
to make us, you know what they did? They fucking told us they had aliens. And
Yes.
everybody forgot about it in a fucking week. Everybody was like, "Oh,
Mhm,
that's cool," because it's like
mhm,
not the craziest thing to happen in the last few years. Fucking
mhm.
Hawaii and California are on fire, and
Yes.
we have giant bugs like this big. Why the fuck wouldn't there be
Exactly.
fucking aliens? You know?
Exactly, exactly, exactly. But again, like you said, it's so easy to manipulate us real quick, real quick. If you feel like something is going
It's that
out,
smoke
same thing like
screen.
you said with COVID. The same thing you said, just like with COVID, because when COVID came out, then all of a sudden they got a cure for it. And my thing is this: by me being in the medical field, I know how long it takes the FDA to approve anything, especially with a medication. For y'all to already have that on stack and pass it out, y'all already knew what y'all was getting ready to do. Y'all already knew it. Because look how quick they came out, they held it, they kept holding it, like they had it, but I was like, we're going to let this go when we want to. Because it's sure is funny when it first came out, they ain't really say nothing about it. It was came over from Japan, and when we found, I mean China, I'm sorry, came from over there because I was watching it that November before it really came here, and they been said something to close it down. And I'm watching, I'm like, they are locking up Americans because it was an American journalist over there, and he the one who started the story. That's how I seen it. And while he was videotaping, the police said, if you don't shut this off now, we're gonna lock you up. So I'm like, so we been knew what was going over there. He set that up. He was like, all right, as soon as it come up, because he was supposed to shut down everything once he got word. He shut down the airports, everything. He didn't do that until after it already came over here and it got as bad as it gets. Then that's what he wanted to shut this down and 6 feet, just so it makes it like they doing something about the problem. And I'm like, no, he set this up. It was a setup, and all of a sudden now you got to take this vaccine. So when people was denying it, oh well, if you don't take this vaccine, and you're not going to work, so you're going to take away my job,
You know
my
what
food,
they? Oh, yeah,
for me to keep
and that's
because I don't want to take this daggone
and that's
vaccination
taking away taking away
our
our free
rights.
rights. And you know what they did? You know what they did in Canada? You know what they did in Canada? They fucked up in Canada. I was on board with Canada. I
Mm-hmm.
liked Canada up until
Mm-hmm.
COVID. They fucked up in Canada. You know what they
What
fucking
happened?
did? There was people that peacefully protested by
Right.
paying money towards this fundraiser,
Mm.
and to that was anti-vaccine, I don't know if it was anti-mask, but it was definitely anti-vaccine, and it was a
Right.
fundraiser, and they're not going out there smashing windows like we
Right.
are in
Doing that.
America. These
Exactly.
nice Canadians, if you bump into a Canadian on purpose, they'll apologize to you. Okay, they're the nicest people in the world, except for my girlfriend. She's been in America too long. But the point, the point is that, I mean, they were peacefully protesting by giving to this fundraiser, and Canada froze their fucking bank accounts to punish them. Yeah, Canada froze their fucking. Go look it up. I can't. I don't know exactly what the story is told, but I'm sure if you just look up, I mean, Canada
Oh, I
freezes.
like stuff like that. I'm definitely gonna look that up.
Peaceful protest, or Canada freezes bank accounts. You'll find it. I can't remember what the fundraiser was called, but
Right.
yeah, they froze a bunch of people's fucking bank accounts in Canada
Wow.
because they were funding this. We don't want to wear our masks, or we don't want to get the vaccine, you know, and just because they were peacefully protesting. Yeah, like it's control is what it is. And don't get me wrong. Here's the thing: masks, they obviously work. Just
Right.
like this air thing on my or this air screen on my mic. If I take
Right.
this off, you'll start hearing all sorts of feedback in air. Obviously, the mask works when you don't have fucking
Exactly.
someone's lunch breathing in your face.
Ex-
When you know what I mean, when you can't smell some what they had for breakfast, obviously you're gonna have a less
Exactly.
chance of getting sick. But here's the thing: you, I feel about it two ways. One way, you shouldn't be forced to wear your mask. You have every right as a
Exactly.
human being to not wear your mask. But on the other hand, wear your fucking mask. Be a decent human being and wear your mask.
Good. Oh my
That's
gosh, this
that's that's
video.
that's how I feel about it. Is yes, you have the right to not be a decent human being, but please be a decent human being. Please just wear your mask. You know what I mean? You have the right not to be. I'm not. I just knocked my mic. I'm not. Distributing or fuck. What is it? What am I? I can't look. I can't think of the word I'm looking for. But I'm not going. I'm not saying anything against your right as a human being
Right.
to not have a vaccine or not have a mask.
Right.
And I don't have the vaccine. I think that's fucking complete bullshit. It's not tested. It's not whatever. And I think it's just a
Nope.
way for the government to keep track of who has it and who doesn't, and keep
It
track of
is.
us and keep us in line. And oh, you can't get this job if you don't have the vaccine. You can't do
Yep.
like and there's this thing, because the jobs in this country are what run the country.
Yep.
They produce all of our goods and all of our, I mean, obviously China does, we produce a lot of stuff too, but they, manufacture, as far as the manufacturing people here, they're going to start to say, oh, you can't get a manufacturing job, or, oh, you can't work at
Yep.
Amazon because Amazon's a big fucking
Exactly.
one, right? You can't ship
Yep.
anything. You can't ship anything. You can't fucking package anything. You can't manufacture anything unless you have the vaccine. It's a way to keep track of all the people that actually work for the government, because all those
Yep.
manufacturers, they're actually working for the government in the long run.
They are, and it's so funny that you said that because I forgot. Oh my gosh, when I was going to Morgan, and I was in my sociology class, and we were sitting there, and we was watching the story about the guys that was in New York when the lady had passed away, and they had locked up these 4 African American boys that had nothing to do with it. Like they locked them up, and I was watching it, and it is so crazy because Even then, it's like our rights was taken. Like, don't
Mm.
say nothing. Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. And and I'm sitting in class and I'm watching this documentary on a different level because here it is, you have five guys, and you not wanted the government to come and say, well, wait a minute, these are underage kids. Let them
Mhm.
talk. But the government was like, nope, we got the ones, we got the killers, and it's like the government will do anything to keep you, where they want you to be at with everything. Same thing with the mask. Like my thing was this: if I don't mind wearing a mask, I thought it was cute. I can get different masks to wear, but like you said, don't tell
Yeah, there you
me
go.
what I have to do
I
or what I
have
don't want
to,
to do.
yeah.
You
That
get what I'm
pissed me off.
saying?
Like that because but here's the thing is that but that's what they did. That goes back to the whole thing we were saying about them fighting us left against right and making us fight left against right
Yep,
is they when you tell people they have to do something, they are automatically
exactly,
gonna be those people who are just like, fuck you, I'm not doing it just because you told me to. Just because you told me to, I'm not wearing a fucking mask. And then that makes us fight with all the rest of the people who are like, dude, I don't want to get sick. Get your fucking mask on. It's like what like, and I don't think that like we should have been
exactly.
locked in our
You know what I mean?
homes and quarantined like that, but at least wear your fucking mask. Yeah, you
Man,
know,
when I was
but don't.
it's so many fights. Like I never forget this when it was mandatory. Like when you couldn't go nowhere without your mask. Like you couldn't even get in a building where you had to wear your mask. And I remember I was on the bus stop and I had my mask on, and God said something. He was like, "Oh, you stupid for wearing the mask." And I just looked at him and I was like, "Okay." So he didn't say nothing. So he gave me that look like that's all you got. I'm like, I'm not about to sit here and fuss with you. If that's what you wanted, I'm not about to because that's how you feel. I said, okay. So he kept on, oh, they stupid. I ain't went, okay. But yeah, I really seen people get upset about people wearing their masks. Like, take your mask. I'm like, don't, what are you mad at this person? Oh, my fault. What are you mad at this person for? Because that's what they choose to do. They choose to wear a mask and you choose not to. Okay, that's fine. Why are you even making it your business on their
Yeah,
business?
why? Yeah,
It's
why
like,
does it fucking matter?
but
Why
just
does
like
it
you said,
matter to you?
it's
It's
anything
not.
to keep us divided. Anything to keep us divided. I'm like, I seen so many. I ain't wearing my mask, and this. And I'm like, okay, and that's on you. But why should
Mhm.
that be somebody else's purpose? Like all the Karens, I was saying, all the Karens. Oh my God, this. I'm like, okay, Karen. All right, that's how you feel about the mask. Okay, and
Yeah.
it was so funny because it's like for 3 weeks straight, I will go up and see who had the most videos of the currents who wanted to wear the mask and the currents who didn't want to wear the mask. And it was so funny because the currents said, "Put your mask on." Oh my God, put your mask on. I'm like, okay. Then you got the currents. I am not wearing it. I am not wearing it. I'm like, wow,
They
wow.
were both, yeah. The Karen, no, the Karen, there were Karens on both sides that time. There were.
Exactly. That's why I would watch the videos. Like,
I feel like that's like almost with any like you're gonna have Karen like, and I hate to use. Sorry to anyone who's named Karen, by the
yeah,
way,
sorry, Karen.
who's a nice
Sorry.
lady. But yeah, sorry, Karen. But
We're sorry.
no, I mean that's the thing is like that's with anything is like you're gonna have those assholes or those Karens on both sides of the argument going fuck, and that's
Exactly.
what they want. That's what they want. But here's the thing: we call them Karens because they don't represent the rest of us.
Exactly.
You know
They
what I
don't.
mean? They don't. We're
They
not.
don't.
We just don't. Most of us are just trying to get by peacefully, not fucking die from any
Yeah,
crazy disease
exactly,
that our
exactly,
government or their government or whoever's government created and fucking pumped into the fucking air because that's
exactly.
let's be real like
It
how
was
the
man
fuck
made.
like
It's
you know
man
what I
made.
mean you pumped a fucking so, us as human beings are so destructive whoever's government was I don't care another human being or several human beings whether purposely or on accident pumped a deadly virus into the fucking air
It was on
and
purpose. I don't believe it
that's
wasn't on
fucked up.
purpose. And the
You know what
reason
I
why I
mean?
say that it goes back to
And
like
that's yeah, that's the
ancient
same thing.
times.
Same thing. We you know what I mean. We could talk about 9/11 too. Is you're gonna have people on both sides of that. Like how you know they're gonna be people on here. I mean, maybe even on this episode who are gonna be like, how dare you disrespect my country by saying that it was an attack on by our own people and like and it's like yeah, there is no disrespect to the country. I respect the country,
We're
but
just talking about the event.
I don't respect the government because I don't think the government is looking out for the best interests of the country.
They
I
not.
respect our men and women who are fighting for us. I respect the people who are going to work and paying their bills. I respect the fucking guy behind the counter who makes my fucking burger and like cashes me out. And I respect the
Exactly.
guy in the warehouse who ships my Amazon packages to me. And I respect the guy on the boat who hasn't seen his family in months. And you know what I mean? I respect the guy who's sitting next to, a body of one of his comrades and he'll never get to see again. Like, I respect those fucking people. I
I respect the
respect
teachers
that's
that
what it
teach
makes
their
those,
kids.
all those examples I just mentioned, those are what make America, America to me.
Exactly.
And I
And
love my fucking country.
exactly.
And I love those things about, like, those are the things that I feel are what makes our country, the people
Yep.
and what we do on an everyday basis for the people we love. That's what makes America, America.
Exactly.
And the government doesn't love us. You know what I
Mm-mm.
mean? These men are going to off
Mm-mm.
to seas. I respect the military because they love us. The military loves us. The government fucking does it. You know what I mean? And
Man, anytime they pay the jail systems more than they pay the
at
teachers,
least the
of
men in the
course,
military and women, obviously.
of
But
course,
yeah,
of
and
course, of course. Anytime the government will prefer to put more money into like jails and detention centers instead of the educational system, of course,
mhm.
you have teachers right now who is taking care of 20 plus kids in one classroom setting.
Oh
And
yeah,
every day they are dealing with parents coming, not child, not this, not child, not this, and they're underpaid. You
yeah.
have
I mean,
teachers right now who's getting a
how
bridge
can anyone
bucket.
even learn like that? How can
You
anyone
can't.
even begin to learn like that? Everybody learns differently and everybody learns at their own pace. And if
That's
you
why they
try
have
to
to
teach
shift you
everybody the
correct.
same way, it's just not going to work. I think the school system is fucking completely flawed, and it should never have been built the way it was. I mean, back in the old days, like, there were a classroom of just a few children, but that's
Mm-hmm.
because, like, not everybody could go to school, and not everybody could, one, afford to go to school, and two, not everybody was welcome at school because of their race, religion, sex,
Exactly.
gender, or skin color. Uh,
Exactly.
and but now schools have gotten more inclusive and that's awesome, but now there's no exclusivity. They've got
Mm-mm.
inclusive but there's no exclusivity anymore because we need to teach them all the same because everybody's equal. But here's the thing that I used to say. I used to say, I believe everyone's equal, right? Because that's how I was brought
Right.
up. And then
Mm-hmm.
one of my counselors one time, he actually said to me, he said, um, all people are humans,
Mm-hmm.
but not all people are equal. That is absolutely not true.
Exactly.
All people are not
Exactly.
equal. I can't dunk like Michael Jordan.
Exactly.
I can't fucking dunk like Michael Jordan. Are you kidding me? We are not equal. I am not equal to that man. But you know what I mean. We are. But like that's what I mean. We are all people, and we all deserve the same equal amount. We deserve an equal amount of consideration from each other,
Right. Right.
but we are not equal
Equal.
because you know what I mean. And that's like there are the government has made us even less equal
Of
with
course.
I was thinking about it. I was actually, and this is where I get a lot of my thinking done, in the shower. I was thinking,
You
I was
too.
thinking about, like, if what I would describe myself as if I were to, like, and I would usually say, like, lower class to middle class, like,
Mhm.
or lower middle class or whatever, right? And I was just thinking about how fucked up is it that we're in a class system that, like,
Exactly.
and I was thinking about what the word class means. You're saying that these people aren't classy, like, these people don't have these people. You're saying that these people are basically less attractive, less desirable, less of a person because
Yep.
they have less money. They're in a less of a class.
Yep.
They have less class than you. That is. I mean, you know what I mean. And I always think about the meaning of words and how we misuse them all the time. And, like, and
Exactly.
I honestly would, like, so, in my life, we've gone from, like, very fucking, it's just ramen and fucking maybe we'll have some electricity like to like, okay, we're doing good. Like this is what I would
Right.
consider middle class. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yep.
But like the upper class are a whole different breed of like elite. And I feel like when you get into whatever that upper class is, there's a mindset that changes. You become into,
Exactly.
you become sorry, excuse my excuse my little demon.
Don't
Um
worry, I have a 5-year-old niece that does the same thing whenever she's around me. She just want my
but
attention. That's gonna be the motherfucker.
yeah, no, anyway,
She's gonna
sorry about
take you.
that.
He gonna take
Little
over your
demon
show
child
one day.
just
He gonna take over your show one day. He gonna have your show running.
oh yeah, he's gonna climb up in the chair and be like, "All right, guys, welcome back." He was
Right.
he was he was trying to find Chucky. God, I did not show him Chucky, so I don't know how he found out about Chucky. Okay, but apparently he knows.
Oh my goodness.
Dude, that's awesome.
So you have to do a kid
Hey, this
show.
is
You have to do a kid show. One
this
day
is
you
a
just
deep
have to do
cut.
a kid show. But like have kids,
That
it'd
would
be
be
so cute.
awesome. Honestly, that would be awesome. That's a deep
I
cut,
would
man. You
definitely
get to
bring my
see behind the scenes. He's usually like asleep when we do the regular show.
hmm
But like I brought him out here earlier, and I was like, and I was sitting him in the chair, and I was showing him because I got this new mic stand.
Oh
Um,
cool.
yeah, and I got a new
Oh
mic and a
cool.
new
You
mic
official
stand, and
official.
yeah. It's pretty cool. So and I brought him into the chair, and I had him like he was like singing into the microphone and stuff, and yeah, it was
So
pretty cool.
cute.
Yeah. He's adorable, dude. He's just sometimes he gets like rambunctious at like stuff. Like he's actually been in the room now for like he was in there, sitting there and playing for like the last like 20, 25 minutes. Then we just started to hear him because he gets to this point where he gets like amped up and he
Like all
starts
right.
smashing his toys together
Right.
and just like
He's
yeah,
like, all right, this is my time now. I don't know what you over there doing, but this is my time to be me. You're
like you would
interrupting my me
listen.
time.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen. Honestly, I did an hour and a half or an hour and
hmm
40 minutes is a long time for a kid to sit and wait for a son. You know what I mean? But like
Exactly. 5 minutes
he's
is too
very
long.
understanding. He knows like he's young. He's only 4, but
Oh,
he can see how special the show is to me because he can see
right,
how excited I get about it. You know what I
right.
mean? And
So
like
he knows this must be
we opened up
something.
we opened up my mic stand together
Mhm.
when it came in the mail. We opened up the box and we set it up together, and like he just knew he knew that I was excited to get a new toy. You know
Right,
what I
right,
mean? Because
right,
he knows that feeling. He knows
right.
oh no, I muted myself, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Yo, so the I how long ago was that? How much was I talking?
just about a
Was that
minute.
muted?
Not even that long.
I
A
just
couple
about, all right,
seconds.
let's go. All right, so the thing about this mic is it has a touch screen mute button.
Oh, and you don't know when you're
So
talking.
yeah, I can literally just and then yeah, see what I mean? Like
Right.
just I can literally and then I have like knobs on the side where I can adjust the volume of my
So, all right.
yeah, it's pretty cool. It's not the most expensive mic in the world, but like it does the job and it's really cool for the setup that I have. So I'm definitely really excited to have it now. We've been rolling for about an hour and 40 minutes now, so we're gonna wrap up. But is there anything that you want to say to me or to the people or any message you want to get across before we wrap the show up?
I just want to let everybody. I just want everybody to stay aware. If you don't get nothing else out of this, just stay aware of your surroundings, your thoughts, your placement. Just be aware of who you are. Because for every, like you said, there's so many distractions. Just be centered in you. If you don't do nothing else, just make sure you are centered before you do anything else. That's the only thing I can tell
Absolutely.
everybody. Just be centered.
Thank you for that. Thank you for those wise words of advice. Absolutely, everybody find your center and find your ground, find your solid place, find your rock, and stand there.
And then you know what you
And
do after you stand there? That you have an on me moment.
hell yeah. And there's a quote that I like, and it's actually from a Marvel movie. And Captain
You know
America
he
said
loves
this.
Marvel.
And I know everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, this is gonna be so corny. It's gonna be one of Dylan's fucking." But seriously, and I know Captain America said it, but seriously, he said, "Stand your ground,
Mm-hmm.
even if the whole world is telling you to move.
Stand
Don't,
still. Yep.
don't budge an inch. Even if the whole world is telling you to move, you have to stand there because you have to be your own rock. You have to be. It has to be on me. You have to
You have to be
stand
your
on
own
you.
anchor.
You are the rock that
Yep.
you're standing on. So,
You have
with
to
that
be
being
your own
said,
anchor.
thank y'all very much. Make sure y'all go follow her again on
Please.
YouTube at Red Designs and go check her book on Amazon. Her on DNA and DNA the results. And just everybody keep your heads up and don't give up. Thank y'all. Peace out, everybody. Wait, and subscribe on YouTube,
Yeah,
Spotify,
hit that bell.
Amazon,
Hit the
freaking
bell.
iTunes, everywhere. Yeah. Hit the bell, comment everywhere you get your podcasts. Everywhere, we're out everywhere. Catch you on Saturday night, people. Peace.